Science Magazine is reporting that Republican representative, unsurprisingly, Lamar Smith, is launching an assault on the National Science Foundation. Now, this shouldn't be surprising. Republicans hate the National Science Foundation and the fact that they're receiving government money, although I'll tell you how little they're receiving in government money in just a second. But recently, he proposed something known as the High Quality Research Act.
Yeah.
And according to Raw Story, Smith's High Quality Research Act scraps the NSF's current peer review process, which solicits the opinions of independent experts as to the intellectual merit of broader impacts of proposed research. Instead, a new set of non-scientific standards for science funding are being proposed.
That's awesome. Look, we talk about the Republicans' war on science. Here it is, in black and white. There's no question about it. Like National Science Foundation, goddamn science. The guy is on the committee on science and technology. Okay, that's his committee, and he hates science. Now, what Anna just read to you is much worse, though. Not only do I not want to fund real science, I'd like to fund things that aren't real science and confuse you. And gee, I wonder why they might want to do that. Could it be to help their donors from the energy industry who don't believe in the science of climate change? And how would they be able to take advantage of that? Could the Koch brothers, who apparently can't buy enough scientists, and that's a great credit to the scientists of the world, think, well, if I can't buy a scientist, maybe I could buy a guy in a lab coat that he got from a Halloween store, and I can get Lamar Smith to say, it's not peer-reviewed, but we'll call it science.
So let me jump in very quickly and just reread the very beginning of that graphic and how it just contradicts itself, right? Smith's High Quality Research Act scraps the NSF's current peer-reviewed process.
No, but this is but that's Republican 101. The Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, whatever. I mean, whenever they say clean or clear or quality anything, you know that you're about to get the exact opposite.
Yes.
Because they saw 1984 as not a warning sign, but a how-to manual.
It's ridiculous. So just to give you quick bullet points about what his proposal would do, it scraps the NSF's current peer review process, which solicits the opinions. You guys already know all that. And it also replaces it with a new set of non-scientific standards for science funding. It will discount the importance of research duplication, an important part of the scientific process. Scientists cannot independently verify experimental results from other laboratories.
So understand why that's so important. Because the Koch brothers, as an example, will buy off someone, right? And they'll say, okay, we're going to pay you $285,000 for a study. And the scientist is like, Jesus, man, that's like 20 times what I was getting before. And these are all exaggerations, but you get it, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is they can't get anybody else to verify that guy's results. So this then says, verify, schmerify. Hey, here we go. I got a guy, and he says, climate change, A, doesn't exist, and B, if it did exist, it would rock, right? That's what this whole thing's about.
And they hate the fact that government funding is going towards something that goes against their agenda, their pro-oil agenda, their pro-coal agenda. And, they always make these ridiculous arguments about how we're spending way too much money on basic science. Remember we did that story about how Fox News always shows like the shrimp running on a wheel or something like that. Well, we spend so little when it comes to science when you look at the grand scheme of things. In fact, the grand total that we're going to spend in 2014 is $7.6 billion. Sounds like a lot, but when you look at the federal budget, it's only 0.2% of the $3.77 trillion federal budget.
So, look, I told you this before. The Republicans have a war on science. They have a war on reporters. They have a war on universities and professors, etc. Why do they always go after these people? Because they hate facts. It gets in the way of their propaganda. They want to pay people to do propaganda. And so if you hear from a scientist, or you hear from a teacher, or you hear from someone, a journalist trying to bring you facts, that all hurts the conservative cause. And the reality is it didn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be a conservative liberal thing. It's just that conservatives have been duped into believing that they should serve the corporate interests. Now, a corporation doesn't have to be against science, and as much as we have issues with Monsanto for other things, They use science and they have increased the food supply, and then they've got other problems, etc. My point is that corporations don't have to be anti-science. But if it suits their agenda and they want to make more money, well, they pay people to be anti-science, and they pay for that propaganda.
Yeah.
And who are they going to get it from? The Republican Party. And finally, that goes to my larger point. This is my frustration with the media. They call this crap even.
Yep.
It's not even. We have look, the Democrats are horrible. I'm not sure there's a show in the country that beats up on the Democrats more than we do. Certainly not any show that does it with substance and facts. You know, the Fox News will do their crazy stuff against them, right? But we bring facts here and we explain what they're doing wrong. But the Republican Party is disingenuous at its core. It's not representing conservative positions. It's representing corporate positions that they have been bought and paid to represent. So when the Washington press corps is like, well, the Democrats say this and the Republicans say that, and so Lamar Smith would like to destroy science in the country, is really concerned about the budget. So he'd like to reduce the National Science Foundation's budget because he's worried about it. Now, he's not so worried that he's going to take away trillions in tax cuts from the rich. No. Then he's not concerned about the budget. He's not so concerned that he's not going to start another $1 trillion war. But my God, it's 0.2% of the budget. We got to hack away at it. That's not why. And if you don't cover the fact that Lamar Smith is a sellout person who is doing the bidding of his donors exclusively, then you suck at your job. You're not reporting the real news. The funny thing is, when I say this and they see it, the people in Washington, they think, oh, this guy's too biased. He's biased because he's got all the facts and he's pointing it out. That's so rude. That's so rude. You're supposed to call the Republicans honest, honorable gentlemen who have a 50% chance of being right on their pure ideological position.